Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antilila, chapter number 1. Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī's second meeting with the Lord in Vrindavan. Verse number 191, we'll continue from Mukam Karuti Vachalam Pangum Langhaite Girim Yat Kripatamam Bande Shri Gurum Din Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hariyam Tat Sat. Vihar Sur Dirghika Mama Manaha Karindrasya Ya Vilochana Chakor Yoha Sharad Amanda Chandra Prabha Uro Ambar Tatasya Chabharana Charu Taravali Mayonata Manorathair Iyam Alambhi Saradhika. Srimati Radharani is the Ganges in which the elephant of my mind enjoys pastimes. She is the shining of the full autumn moon for the chakor birds of my eyes. She is the dazzling ornament, the bright and beautiful arrangement of stars on the border of the sky of my chest. Now today I have gained Srimati Radharani because of the highly elevated state of mind. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. This verse from the Lalita Madhav 2.10 expresses the thoughts of Lord Krishna in relation with Radharani. Verse 192. Eta Shuni Rai Kahe Prabhura Charane Rupera Kavitva Prashmashi Masi Sahasra Vadane. After hearing this, Srila Ramananda Rai submitted at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the super excellence of Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī's poetic expression and began to praise it as if he had thousands of mouths. Verse 193. Kavitva Nahaya e Amritera Dhar Natak Lakshana Sab Siddhantera Sar. Srila Ramananda Rai said, this is not a poetic presentation, it is a continuous shower of nectar. Indeed, it is the essence of all ultimate realizations, appearing in the form of plays. Verse 194. Prema Paripati e Adbhut Varnana Shuni Chitta Karnera Haya Ananda Gurnana. The wonderful descriptions of Rūpa Gosvāmī are superb arrangements to express loving affairs. Hearing them will plunge the hearts and ears of everyone into a whirlpool of transcendental bliss. Verse 95. Kim kavyena kavestasya kim kandena dhanusmataha parasya hridaye laganam na gurnayati yachchiraha. What is the use of a bowman's arrow or a poet's poetry if they penetrate the heart but do not cause the head to spin? Verse 196. Tumhara shakti vina jivera nahi evani tumi shakti diya kahao he na anumani. Without your mercy, such poetic expressions would be impossible for an ordinary living being to write. My guess is that you have given him the power. Verse 197. Prabhu kahe prayage ihar haila milan ihar gune ihate amar tusht haila mana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I met Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī at Prayag. He attracted and satisfied me because of his qualities. Purport: the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not partial to some and neutral to others. One can actually draw the attention of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by service. Then one is further empowered by the Lord to act in such a way that everyone can appreciate his service. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad-Gita 4.11. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham. Krishna is responsive. If one tries to render his best service to the Lord gives him the power to do so. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad-Gita 10.10, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his special favor upon Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī because Rūpa Gosvāmī wanted to serve the Lord to the best of his ability, such as the reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord in the discharge of devotional service, or rather duties. Verse 198. Madhura prasanna ihar kavyas salankar aiche kavitva vinu nahe rasera prachar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised the metaphors and other literary ornaments of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's transcendental poetry. Without such poetic attributes, he said, there is no possibility of preaching transcendental mellows. Verse 199. Sabe kripa kari inhare deha evara vraja lila prema rasayena varane nirantara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all his personal associates to bless Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī so that he might continuously describe the pastimes of Vrindavan, which are full of emotional love of Godhead. Verse 200. Inhara ye jeshta brata nama sanatanam prithivete vijna vara nahi tandra sama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's elder brother, whose name is Sanatana Goswami, is such a wise and learned scholar that no one is equal to him. Verse 201. Tomari aiche vishaya tyaga taiche tandra riti danya vairagya pandityera tanhete sthiti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Ramananda Rai, Sanatana Goswami's renunciation of material connections is just like yours. Humility, renunciation, and excellent learning exist in him simultaneously. Verse 202. Ei dui bhai ami pathailun vrindavane shakti diya bhakti shastra karite pravartane. I empowered both of these brothers to go to Vrindavan and expand the literature of bhakti. Purport: Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed Srila Ramananda Rai that he and Sanatana Goswami had engaged equally in devotional service after giving up all relationship with material activity. Such renunciation is a symptom of an unalloyed devotee engaged in the service of the Lord with no tinge of material contamination. According to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is the position of Trinadapi Sunichina Taror Eva Soheshruna, a pure devotee free from all the reactions of the material modes of nature, executes devotional service with tolerance like that of a tree. He also feels humbler than a grass. Such a devotee, who is called Nishkinchana or free from all material possessions, is always absorbed in emotional love of Godhead. He is reluctant to perform any kind of sense gratification. In other words, such a devotee is free from all the material bondage, but he engages in Krishna conscious activities. Such expert devotional service is performed without hypocrisy. Humility, renunciation, and learned scholarships were combined in Sanatana Goswami, the ideal pure devotee who was on the same level of understanding as Srila Ramananda Rai. Like Ramananda Rai, Sanatana Goswami was fully cognizant, expert in the conclusions of the devotional service, and was therefore able to describe such transcendental knowledge. Verse 203. Rai kahe Ishwara tumi ye chaha karite kasthera putali tumi paran na chaite. Sri Ramananda Rai replied to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, My Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you like, you can cause even a wooden doll to dance. Verse 204. Mora mukhe ye sab rasa karila pracharane sahi rasa dekhi ihar ik likhane. I see that the truths regarding the transcendental mellows that you expounded through many mouths are all explained in the writings of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. Verse 204. Mora mukhe ye sab rasa karila pracharane sahi rasa dekhi ihar likhane. I see that the truths regarding the transcendental mellows that you expounded through my mouth are all explained in the writings of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. Verse 205. Bhakte kripa hetu prakashite chaha prajarasa yoro karao se karibe jagat tumara vasa. Because of your causeless mercy toward your devotees, you want to describe the transcendental pastimes in Vrindavan. Anyone empowered to do this can bring the entire world under your influence. Purport: This passage parallels the statement Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Atara Pravartan, which means that unless empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, one cannot spread the holy name of the Lord throughout the entire world. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, chapter 7, verse 11. Under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a pure devotee can preach the holy name of the Lord so that everyone may take advantage of his facility and thus become Krishna conscious. Verse 206. Tabe Mahaprabhu Kailay Rūpa Raghunath Rūpe Alingana Tanre Karaila Sabar Charana Vandana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Rūpa Gosvāmī and asked him to offer prayers at the lotus feet of all the devotees present. Verse 207. Translation. Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu and all other devotees showed their causes mercy to Rūpa Gosvāmī by embracing him in turn. Verse 208. Prabhu Kripa Rūpe Ar Rūpera Sadguna Dekhi Chamatkar Haila Savakar Mana. Seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mercy towards Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī and seeing his personal qualities, all the devotees were struck with wonder. Verse 209. Tabe Mahaprabhu Sab Bhakta Lena Gela Haridas Thakur Rūpe Alingana Kaila. Then when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left with all his devotees, Haridas Thakur had also embraced Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī. Verse number 210. Haridas kahe, Tomar bhagyera nahi sima, ye sab varnila ihar ke jane mahima. Haridas Thakur told him, there is no limit to your good fortune, no one can understand the glories of what you have described. Verse 211. Shirup kahena ami kichui na jani, ye Mahaprabhu kahana se kahi vani. Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī said, I do not know anything. The only transcendental words I can utter are those which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes me speak. Purport: the poet or writer dealing with the transcendental subject. The poet or writer dealing with the transcendental subject matters is not an ordinary writer or translator because he is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever he writes becomes very effective. The principle of being empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead is essential. A materialistic poet who describes in this poetry the material activities of men and women cannot describe the transcendental pastimes of the Lord or the transcendental conclusions of devotional service. Srila Sanatana Goswami has therefore warned all neophyte devotees that one by one the principle of being empowered by the Supreme Personality of God is essential. A materialistic poet who describes in his poetry the material activities of men and women cannot describe the transcendental pastimes of the Lord or the transcendental conclusion of devotional service. Sanatana Goswami has therefore warned all neophyte devotees that no one should not hear from the mouth of a non-Vaishnava. A Vaishnava mukho giranam putam hari kathamritam shravanam naiva kartavyam sarpochistam yatha payaha. This is from Padma Puran. One should not hear anything about Krishna from a non-Vaishnava. Milk touched by the lips of the serpent has poisonous effects. Similarly, talks given by the non-devotee or the non-Vaishnavas are also poisonous. Usually one is fully unalloyed devotee of the Lord. One should not try to describe the pastimes of Krishna in poetry, for it will only be mundane. There are many descriptions of Krishna's Bhagavad-Gita written by persons whose consciousness is mundane and who are not qualified by pure devotion. Although they attempt to write transcendental literature, they could not fully engage even one there are many descriptions of Krishna's Bhagavad-Gita written by persons whose consciousness is mundane and who are not qualified by pure devotion. Although they attempted to write transcendental literature, they could not fully engage even a single devotee of Krishna's service. Such a literature is mundane and therefore, as warned by Śrīla Sanatana Gosvāmī, one should not touch it. Verse 212. Vidiyasya premaranya pravartito ham pravartito. Although I'm the lowest of men and have no knowledge, the Lord has mercifully bestowed upon me the inspiration to write transcendental literature about devotional service. Therefore, I offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has given me the chance to write this book. Purport. This is from Bhakti-Vida Samrit Sindhu 1.1.2. Verse 213. E mata dui jana Krishna kaha range sukhe kaya konaya Rūpa Haridas sange. In this way, Srila Rūpa Goswami passed his time in close association with Haridas Thakur by discussing the pastimes of Lord Krishna in great happiness. Verse 214. Chari mas rahi sab prabhura bhakti gana Gosvāmī vidya dila gode karila kamana. All the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they spent 4 months with him. Then the Lord bade them farewell and they returned to Bengal. Verse 214. Chari mas rahi sab prabhura bhakt gana Gosvāmī vidaya dila gode karila kamana. All the devotees of Mahaprabhu, they spent 4 months with him. When the Lord had bade them farewell and they returned Bengal. Verse 215. Shri Rūpa pade nilachale rahila dola yatra prabhu sange anande Tekhila. Shri Rūpa Goswami stayed at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, and then when the Dola Yatra festival, he saw it in great happiness with the Lord. Verse 216. Dolanantare Prabhu Rupe Vidaya Dila Anek Prasad Kari Shakti Sancharila. After the Dola Yatra festival ended, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to Rūpa Goswami and also. The Lord empowered him and bestowed upon him all kinds of mercy. Verse 217. Vrindavane yaha tumi rahiya Vrindavane ek bar ihan pathaiya sanatane. Now go to Vrindavan and stay there. The Lord said, you may send here your elder brother Sanatan. Verse 218. Vraje yai rasa shastra kariha nirupana lupt tirtha sab tahan Kariya Pracharana. When you go to Vrindavan, stay there, preach transcendental literature, and excavate the lost holy places. Verse 219. Krishna Seva Rasa Bhakti Kariya Prachar Amiha Dekhite Tahan Yaimu Ekbar. Establish the service of Lord Krishna and preach the mellows of Lord Krishna's devotional service. I shall also go to Vrindavan once more. Verse 220. Eta Bali Prabhu Tanre Kaila Alingana Rūpa Gosvāmī Sire Dhare Prabhura Charana. Having thus spoken, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Rūpa Gosvāmī, who then placed the lotus feet of the Lord upon his head. Verse 121. Prabhura Bhakta Gana Pashe Vidai Laila Punarapi Gauda Pathe Vrindavane Aila. Srila Rūpa Goswami took leave of all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and returned to Vrindavan by the path through Bengal. Verse 222. Eta Kahilan Punaha Rupere Milan Iha Ye Swashune Pai Chaitanya Charan. Thus I have described the second meeting of Rūpa Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone who hears of this incident will certainly attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse 223. Shri Rūpa Raghunath Pade Yar Ash Chaitanya Charitamrit Kahe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rūpa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit following in their footsteps. Purport. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose to Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit Antya Lila, first chapter describing the second meeting of Srila Rūpa Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we'll begin chapter number 2 next time of the Antya Lila. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.